You know what? I love that music. I love that opening. It's Friday. NewsRap live at 5. I'm Andre Coleman. And I know what you're thinking, and you're looking for Barry Gordon. He's not on the set, but Barry is with us via Skype, all the way from Hawaii. How's it going, Barry? There he is.
Aloha.
You looking good, man.
How you guys? Oh, I'm mellow.
You having a good time?
I'm having a great time.
Well, bring the energy up, man. We're on the air.
Live here and I'm having a ball, huh?
I said, bring the energy up. We're on the air. Put the glass down with the little umbrella in it and all that stuff. And
I did. I did. You know, I was.
And let's get to it.
From the beach, I decided no. You know, everyone would get way too upset, way too jealous. So I figured I would just hang in the hotel room and have a semblance of formality to this. So.
And bring my shirt back when you're done. But I appreciate you wearing it on the air today. So what's going on? I mean, you can't.
I got this in Hawaii. This is a Hawaiian shirt.
Oh, that's a real Hawaiian. Well, I hope you wore something on the way down there before you picked it up. So, of course, you know everything that's going on. You can't get away what's going on in the country, even if you go all the way to Hawaii, right?
No, you can't. You can't escape it. And, you know, I was thinking, you and I, even before we started up the show again, we always used to talk about, okay, is this it?
That's right.
Is this the moment? Is this the thing that's going to bring Donald Trump down? And so far, nothing has. But now, over the last couple of days, we've got new stories, new revelations, new possibilities. And so I asked the question again, and let me ask it to you. You know, what is ultimately going to take him down? Is it Russia or is it sex, lies, and audio tape? What is going to take him down?
You know what? I'm going to stick on, and before I answer, I'm going to toss out the number 626-794-8585 so the callers can jump in.
Yeah, and I realized I'm looking at your picture. I should be looking at the people. So, hey, people.
Either way.
Sorry about that.
I'm going to stick with taxes. I still think when we get around to getting those taxes, he's in trouble. And I do think we are at a point now which could lead to a tax revelation.
Why do you think that?
I think too many rocks are being turned over, too many layers are being lifted up, and I think that's the only thing that we haven't really gotten around to. I mean, now we've confirmed the porn star affairs. I never believed he didn't know about Russia because I don't think his son has the wherewithal or the leadership skills to go into a go into a meeting like that without talking to the old man. I think we're at a point now where even his supporters are starting to go, there could be some trouble here. Not to say they don't support him, but they could say, hey, there could be some legal issues here. And I think that could lead to taxes.
It might. Now they're going to be talking to the CFO, Witzelberg. So that's possible. But I tend to still think that the big black spot is the Trump Tower meeting.
Yeah,
I don't see that out a little bit. I want to kind of lay that out, folks.
Okay.
And I want to go back to June 3rd and actually look at the email exchange, or at least part of it. Can we pull up June 3rd, Daniel? We got to make it clearer.
I got it. The Crown Prosecutor of Russia met with his father, Eris, this morning, and in their meeting,
right away.
Offered to provide the Trump campaign with some official documents.
Prosecutor of Russia. That's the first thing that I want to point out. The Crown Prosecutor of Russia, not some private person, right?
What's a Crown Prosecutor, Barry? What is that? What is that?
Like the Attorney General.
Okay.
So read on.
The Crown Prosecutor of Russia met with his father, Eris, this morning, and in their meeting offered to provide the Trump campaign with some official documents and information that would incriminate Hillary and her dealings with Russia and would be very useful to your father. This is obviously very high level and sensitive information, but as part of Russia and its government support for Mr. Trump, helped along by Eris and Eman. Excuse me if I'm getting the names wrong. What do you think is the best way to...
So
go ahead.
Back up. Wait a minute. Russia and its government support.
Mr.
Right?
Trump. That's right.
That's right.
So that's an official
So it's
declaration.
right out there. If anyone has any doubts as to who Russia was favoring, even before the Helsinki conference,
It's right there.
it's crystal clear that it's right there. Right? Now I want to go to some emails that were exchanged. They're really kind of mundane, but I want to go through them because of the date. And the date was June 7th.
So that's 4 days later.
Right. So let's look at the June 7th email. I can't read them, unfortunately. They're really blurry here, so
I'll read
you'll
them.
have to do it. But okay,
All right.
So read that.
Don, meaning Don Jr., hope all is well. Eamon asked that I schedule a meeting with you and the Russian government attorney who is flying over from Moscow for this Thursday. I believe you're aware of the meeting and so wondered if 3 p.m. or later on Thursday works for you. I assume it would be at your office. Best, Rob Goldstone.
Okay, now notice how they define Natalie Belishniskaya, right?
And that's the woman setting this up.
Define her as a Russian government attorney.
Okay.
Again, not a private person.
All right, so the point being, where you're going is that the Russian government set up this meeting with Trump Jr. that now we are hearing that Trump Sr. knew about in advance. Correct?
Exactly, and he knew that the Russian government was behind this meeting, right?
Right. I mean, it's at his building. It's at his office. How does he not know? He was in the office.
Keep going.
All right, next. June 7th, 5:16. How about 3 at our offices? Thanks, Rob. Appreciate you helping set it up. This one is from Donald Trump Jr., I'm assuming.
Right.
So now we have him saying, show it to me.
There might be another one, but they're mundane.
Okay.
At this point. So what do we know? We know that on June 3rd, he was told that as part of the Russian government's effort to help Donald Trump, they were prepared to deliver through this Russian government attorney pertinent information, damaging information about Hillary Clinton, right?
Right. So what does it mean?
And on June 7th, before that, wrote the letter, I love it, right? If we can make it later in the summer or whatever. He wrote all of that stuff.
Right.
But on June 7th, he locked down the appointment.
Right.
Right?
Right. Let me ask you this.
Where it was going to be and when it was going to be.
Okay. Let me stop you and ask you this.
Well, wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Before you do,
go ahead.
Show the June 7th clip.
All right, let me ask you this while they're figuring that out. Let me ask you this.
June 7th clip.
All right, I'm going to ask you this while they're figuring that out. If Trump Sr. did, in fact, know about this meeting before it happened, what does that mean? Is that a crime? Is there a crime?
I don't know. I think it comes very close to being a conspiracy with a foreign government.
If you have,
I mean, we know that collusion is not a crime,
right? But if you have,
we also know that you're not supposed to. Because I was told this when I ran for office. One in the rule book, right? If someone comes to you from a foreign entity with information about your opponent, you don't look at it.
All right, let's go to that clip now, Barry.
All right.
I am going to give a major speech on probably Monday of next week, and we're going to be discussing all of the things that have taken place with the Clintons. I think you're going to find it very informative and very, very interesting.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
That was the day that Donald Trump Jr. set the time and place for that meeting.
So after meeting confirmation, Trump Sr. goes on TV.
Is there anyone out there who is not in a coma who can look at that, no matter what Mike Cohen says, and not believe that Donald Trump knew exactly about that meeting, what the subject matter was, and even the timing of it because he knew that a couple of days later or a few days later, he was going to be able to make a speech about it.
Hey, Barry, let's go to the phone.
There's no other explanation for that.
Dan, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
How are you?
Oh, here, good.
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
I'm doing good.
I have actually a few questions for you.
Lay it on me.
The first question would be, what are your thoughts about the 80-plus times that the U.S. government interfered in elections around the world and even in governments toppling democratically elected benevolent leaders, and even in 1996 getting involved in the Russian elections? And more importantly, I'd like to ask, what do you think about the prospects of a Mike Pence president instead of Donald Trump? And even more important than that, what do you think about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the progressives that are starting to rise in the Democratic Party and across the board? Thank you.
Thank you. I'll take it from
A
the
lot of
top.
questions.
I'll take it from the top. Nobody should interfere in anybody else's elections. We shouldn't do it either. That's the answer. Barry, you can take the next part, which was, I completely am blanking on.
Mike
Mike Pence
Pence.
Pence
It
president.
was Mike Pence.
Yes.
I think there's a fundamental difference between Mike Pence and Donald Trump. I disagree with virtually everything Mike Pence stands for, but I believe that he understands what the Constitution is. Now, we may find out that he doesn't. We may find out that he's a co-conspirator along with everyone else, or we may not. And we don't know that yet. But at this point, it seems like he may not be the president I want,
Right.
but he certainly would not be as totally unfit for the position as Donald Trump is.
You know, I'm going to say this
And
about
the
Mike
third
Pence.
issue about
Go ahead.
progressives is bring them on. For gosh sake, I mean, I have been waiting for a progressive movement in the Democratic Party since the 90s. So please bring them on. And you know something? If the labels progressive, socialist, throw them out. All you have to know is that these are people who are going to fight for everybody. They're not going to be fighting for Wall Street. They're not going to be fighting for the Fortune 500. They're going to be fighting for people. And if that means Medicare for all, if that means an overhaul of our public education
They got them
system
started.
in this country, whatever that means, please bring it on.
You know, I'm going to say this about Mike Pence. I don't agree with him. I don't like him. Let me be honest. But if he was not a co-conspirator and he's done nothing wrong, he's the vice president and he should move into the presidency if this president resigns or is removed. And then we can get around to where I disagree with him. It's one thing for me just to disagree. It's another thing for me to say you are unfit or you broke the law or you were involved in a conspiracy to obtain the office. So that's where I am on that.
And in regard to the first question, it's Dan, right?
It's Dan.
I'm not here as well as I do in the studio.
Yeah, all those waves
But-
crashing around you are messing with your hearing.
But I'm just going to go to what my mother always told me. 2 wrongs don't make a right. And the fact that, yes, we've been guilty as a country of a lot of horrible, horrible, horrible things.
I agree.
And it's shameful, and we can't take them back. But that doesn't mean that we have to condone one more act like that.
Yeah, you know,
this is
there's even a strong
so
chance we may be planning on interfering in an election right now. And you know what? It's wrong for us to do it. It's wrong for another country to do it. Period. There's no excuse for anybody doing it. All right, are we ready with another clip? So Barry's telling somebody to be quiet. So
yes, right, yes.
Hey, Barry, it's Danielle.
Hey, Danielle.
So Eric says, I'm looking at Facebook stream. He said America needs to wake up. This all boils down to Trump and Putin business ties together.
maybe. Did you hear that, Barry?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
It very well could.
I mean, we have no proof of it yet, and it may not be as direct as Trump-Putin business ties.
Right.
But I think we know. Look, Eric Trump said once about, I think it had to do with the golf courses, right?
Yeah.
Dre?
Yep.
And he's the one that said, well, we don't have to deal with American banks because we get almost all our funding from Russia. And we're just conveniently forgetting that right now.
Let me moonwalk back to Cohen for a second. Let me ask you this, and then I'm going to go back to the phones. Early on in this, Trump said, me nor anybody from my team has anything to do with Russia. And then we know that Flynn was fired for supposedly lying to the vice president. If we find out that even way back then, with Sessions and Franken and Trump knew all along that there were connections to Russia, but Flynn somehow got into the White House, that would represent collusion, even though collusion is not a crime, right? And it could represent the conspiracy. I mean, you have more than 3 people getting together to commit a crime, at the very least.
But what's the crime?
To conspire with a foreign government.
To do what?
You don't need to know what they're doing. A conspiracy is a conspiracy. If I go into even if they don't carry out the conspiracy, if I go into the police station today and I go, hey, Barry Gordon, myself, and one other guy, we're going to shoot a bald eagle, or we were going to shoot it, or we tried to shoot it. That's a conspiracy.
Yeah, but
that's a conspiracy to commit a federal offense. And I know that because my grandfather dodged the draft by doing exactly that. So, I mean, that's a conspiracy. Let me take this call.
It has to be a conspiracy in furtherance of a crime. So that's where the hang up has been. You watch all of these legal analysts all over the cable news.
Hold one moment,
and what they're asking is, we have no doubt that there's a conspiracy. There are Russians and Americans doing all kinds of things together. The question is whether any of it is criminal.
Right.
And
I'm going to go back to the phones.
Closest that
Hang
we're
on.
coming to that.
Barry.
The closest that we're coming to that, if I may, is really
what's the delay?
On the Karen McDougal issue.
All right, I'm going to go back to the phones. I think the delay is messing with us a little bit.
That thought, because with the Karen McDougal issue, with the sex lies and audio tape issue, we heard a conspiracy to, whether it happened or whether it didn't happen, it was a conspiracy to pay hush money or to pay back the Inquirer for hush money or whatever it was. So we heard that, right?
Right.
There was a conspiracy. That is a crime because you cannot do anything like that to affect an election.
Okay, see, I have to just let him go sometimes. Damien, are you there?
Hey, what's good, guys? This is a question for
Damien.
Andre.
Go ahead.
This whole Donald Trump thing, the entirety of Donald Trump, does he speak to a greater sociological problem that wealthy white males can get away with anything in the United States of America?
Well, of course. Did you not know that before you called? Of course. How long have you been in this country?
I mean, what you had to say about it.
All we have to do is go back to the beginning of the country and come forward to every day to see that that's obviously the truth. But it has nothing to do with being a Republican. Hang on. It has nothing to do with a Republican. The Kennedys did it. The Bushes did it. There you go.
Even he said it, I think, with Access Hollywood or whatever, that he could walk into the middle of the street and shoot somebody and not get in trouble. Do you think even as the United States president, he could go and walk into the middle of the street and shoot somebody today and nothing would happen? He wouldn't even get impeached.
I don't think the United States president could walk into the middle of the streets with a gun or have one on his person, because I think as soon as he pulled it out, the Secret Service would tackle the other guy, obviously. So that would never happen. But his point was that he can do whatever he wants. and he's lived his life doing whatever he wants, and he's in the White House doing whatever he wants. And if Congress won't stop him, and Mueller won't stop him, the voters have to stop him. That's what it comes down to. We can stop him. See, he can get away with whatever he wants, but we can stop him from getting away with whatever he wants as president, because in the next election, we can remove him from the presidency, and then he can go back to his private life doing whatever he wants.
Yeah.
So I'm going to chime in and ask a question because we have another package here with the freedom of speech.
Okay.
So
Thank you,
we had
Damien.
a situation with a reporter being asked to leave or not to attend a conference. Do you want to play that clip?
Yeah, let's roll into it.
So I was blocked from attending an open press event here at the White House because the White House did not like the questions I posed to President Trump earlier in the day during an event in the Oval Office with the president of the European Commission. So to walk you through exactly what was going on, I was representing the rest of the television networks during this spray, which is what we refer to it here at the White House, in the Oval Office. We were brought in for the top of the meeting between the president and the president of the European Commission. Both men delivered remarks, and then I and several other reporters started asking President Trump questions. This is a normal occurrence, and it is often our only chance to ask President Trump questions that day, and he often responds to us, Wolf. So to give you a sense of the questions that the White House did not like that we posed to President Trump, here they are. Did Michael Cohen betray you, Mr. President?
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Mr. President, did Michael Cohen betray you?
Thank you very much.
Well, now we're back to the First Amendment. So a CNN reporter gets banned from a press event. I'll tell you what, everybody should be alarmed about that, first off. Let me set that up. Second issue I have is every reporter who was there should have walked out in that moment. The reporter should have ended the event because you can't let him violate the First Amendment. Once you give him that leeway and that power, you're giving him the wrong road to go down by not leaving. I would have left. Even if I was at Fox, if I was at MSNBC, I would have left.
Well, were there other reporters there?
Apparently, people at Fox did stand up and say, hey, that's not right.
They stood up on TV.
But were there other reporters there? Because I thought she was the White House pool reporter for that event.
I thought there were other reporters there. Maybe I'm wrong. No, you're correct. She was the pool reporter. She was the pool reporter. And Danielle is right, too. Fox did stand behind her, as did MSNBC and AP and everybody else. But, the press has to stop hiding behind the First Amendment, and they have to push it forward and advance it. And they have to declare in his face and in Huckabee Sanders' face that they're wrong to do things like that. Not ask the question, was it wrong? But you have to declare to them personally in their face that it's wrong. I've had to do that at events before where reporters from other places were being kicked out because somebody in the city didn't like something they said. And you have to, at that point, say, well, you can't start kicking reporters out because you don't like the coverage. How's that work? How's that draining a swamp? And this guy says he wasn't going to take it. That's taking away a freedom right there. I mean, that's a huge violation. That's the government barring speech and coverage. How's that not wrong? And I know you agree with me, but I'm just tossing out hypotheticals.
Well, I totally agree. Of course.
I think that as we look at Russia and as we look at McDougal and Stormy Daniels, I think people should not lose sight of statements like the press is the enemy of the people, because those are dangerous, dangerous statements. We've already had one shooting at a newspaper, and I don't know if you, and no, it wasn't because of that, but if you looked online right after that shooting happened, there were a whole lot of people who thought it was because of the president's rhetoric. And it puts us in a dangerous position if you're a reporter, and it's a scary place to go.
Well, they're all of a piece, though. And what we can't lose sight of is that pulling down the press comes from the same mentality as saying, let's let Russia help me get elected.
Yeah.
It is an arrogant, it is an egotism, it is an autocratic,
Yeah, exactly.
kind of a point of view that doesn't belong in the United States of America.
No, not at all.
And it does not belong with any leader in the United States of America. You know, I was making fun last week of Trump supporters, because they were saying, oh, he's an entrepreneur, Well, that's not kind to entrepreneurs. Let me tell you something. My wife's a business consultant. She works with a lot of CEOs, a lot of entrepreneurs. You do not have to have that mindset. You do not have to have a gangster lawyer like Rudy Giuliani. You do not have to have a fixer like Michael Cohen in order to be successful in business.
All right, Barry, I'm
and
going to
by
wrap
the
you up.
way, I mean, when I talk about Giuliani and Michael Cohen, they're the same person.
Wait. Let's continue that on
Can
Facebook.
We talk before and after? Did we do that? I want to
Barry.
show the before and after
Barry,
of Michael Cohen.
Barry, I'm going to wrap
Are
you
we
up. We're
going
going to continue on Facebook.
Okay.
All right.
We'll do that. So on Facebook, we'll do the Michael Cohen thing.